it's 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
and somewhere it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Atsushi
Great.
from Japan told me that he will follow the streaming.
Who?
Atsushi.
Okay.
Great.
Good.
Yeah, very.
I told him that the next time the meetings will start at 4, so a bit better, but yeah.
Ok, siamo online, siamo live.
We are online now.
Great.
Un attimo solo. Ok.
Okay.
Yes.
So Fabio is coming back.
Yes.
So
We have 3 minutes left.
whom is going to start?
Fabio.
Okay, we'll wait for him.
Yes.
I said that you deduct it from me, the 3 minutes.
No, Fabio is the capo. Ah, there he is.
Yeah.
Sì, siamo già in diretta.
To me.
Travis, how are you? Oh, he's here. Okay.
He's more punctual than a Swiss. So.
Yes, he learned.
Yeah.
No, because I was born in Milan.
Yeah. Huh?
I was born in Milan for the.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's very close to Switzerland. Yeah, it's true.
Yes, and also we have received the impulse and the influence of.
Yes. So.
Ok, è stato lanciato anche su Facebook.
We are on Facebook now.
Daniel, do you know if the person of Georgia is interesting to be a member at the physical theater working group? You have somebody from Georgia?
You mean from our students here from the academy? Or?
No, from the working group. Is there somebody from Georgia?
I will check. Maybe yes.
Yeah, because they have somebody is working on that, and they have also somebody who wants to do a festival, a movement festival.
Okay.
So I tried to write to Anna from the Georgia.
Also, we can check about the meeting with Georgia too, because I have the list of the chat, because I think that they have written the references.
Huh?
Just 1 minute, we start at 6.
Okay. Take your time.
We will prepare a video clip to present the meeting, perhaps.
Okay.
Okay, we can start the second meeting of the Theater in Conflict Zones Network. And we have with us today Ali Mahdi Nouri from Sudan and Daniel Bausch from Switzerland. And it's a very great pleasure to start this second meeting. And at first, we start with Tobias Biancone, General Director of the International Theatre Institute worldwide. Please, Tobias.
Okay, welcome to this second session. Since I'm in ITI from, I don't know, it's a long time ago, more than 20 years, theater in conflict zone, my unknown enemy, like all this was around. And it was always even mentioned by presidents before how important it is for the work of ITI, for the mission of ITI. And I remember Manfred Beilharz, when he wrote an article, he said, "Oh, we are bridge builder. We are bridge builder. ITI people are bridge builders." So it has a long history. And part of this long history is also Ali Mahdi Nouri, and for sure also Fabio Tolledi, and also the younger history, Daniel Bausch. So I think for me, when I look back at the first edition of this theater in conflict zone webinars or seminars, I found it extremely interesting what they are doing, what Nube and Bernardo were doing in Colombia, and also what Ana Marta de Pizarro told us, and what Victor told us. And I know that Colombia is a very rich place for theater in conflict zone and theater in post-conflict zones. And Carolina Vieras is one of the leading person in working in that field. So it was very interesting. And so I'm extremely interested to know how Ali Mahdi works and how Daniel Bausch are working, what they are doing, because I know what they do in a way, but not so clearly. So I'm very eager to hear what they have to tell us. And I think it will be interesting for me personally. So please.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now start Ali Mahdi Nouri, please.
Thank you. First, I'm so happy and glad to be here, part of this very interesting session. And I just add to what my friend Dr. Tobias mentioned on the idea of the bridge. We are the bridge as an artist between the different cultures. We are the diversity. So how come instead of making performance, just a performance, just an art, how come we help first our community and our country and our neighbor? This is where I was always thinking. My theater before 1980 something, what we call it in Sudan, commercial theater, where the people come to have fun. I have almost 1,300 audience every day. It makes a lot of good audience and good money. But since 2001, 2003, I was working in the south of Sudan at that time, where the war, it's not only conflicts, it was really wars, the people suffering, there are a lot of difficulties. If you see the photos or the video from that time, it was, in the news, where, how can the south was, and the war was there. I was working with the children, try to find a way to give them a good time. Of course, education was not issue at that time, just let them live in a peace, in a place where they are not fight. But nearly to 2004, there was an idea of signing a peace agreement between the south and the north of Sudan, where now we have another state called South Sudan Republic. That was part of that result of discussion, the things. At that time, I was in Malakal. Malakal was a big city and a small village in the same time, you can imagine, in the south of Sudan. I was trying to help the children. During the war, they are using the children as soldiers, so they call them child soldiers. So before the peace agreement, they came to the city. It was really very difficult for them to be again, to integrate them in the civil community. So I make a big camp where they are living together, but it was very difficult because they are from different groups, from different armies. So it was difficult for them to communicate. The only things we use is art, performance art, dancing, music, acting, small stories from the history of their tribe, because they are different tribes. So that was the only time they came together, when we are doing the rehearsal or dancing. So I believe at that time, I guess, okay, theater can be between two frontiers. You know, each one, he have his own place, his own corner. But during the performance or the rehearsal, they came together. So I said to myself, and you will see that later in the presentation, frontiers, two frontiers. So it was like that. So we took the idea at that time, Darfur also in Sudan was a real difficulties with the war, the civil war was there. So we go there, we try to make performance, we bring the tribe together because they are living in camps, you know, the United Nations and the other international organizations helping the people to stay in a camp because they're losing their villages, cities, everything. So in the camps, we try to help by giving medicine and bring some art. So it became theater in the conflict zone. That was the performance. We didn't have the title, but that was the performance. And we make a performance in a different places, in a very difficult time. But lucky enough, we bring some of these people from Darfur to the Khartoum, and we work together. And in 2004, I remember, we come to Tembeco in Mexico, I remember, for the General Assembly. And at that time, I was member of one of the committee before theater. We are separate the committee to different small committee, but at that time, I was member of that committee, and my friend Alexander Stilmark are there. So we talk about this issue. So the ITI German, and this is the bridge, ITI Germany and Sudan work together, and we call it, this what you are always call city and conflict zone. Anyway, we work together, and we agree that they came to Khartoum, and they work together with us. They make a workshop. We bring people from out of Khartoum. They make the workshop. We took them to Stuttgart. That was the international workshop, and that the idea came from. And after that, I believe very much the things are going by the support of the ITI. I think the ITI is giving how we use the performance art in solving the difficulties and helping in the peace building is the idea of the ITI. And as Tavio said, we are the bridge. We are building this bridge. For example, this photo in one of the camp, one of the big camp. And I remember in one of this camp, we have a performance. There are 12,000 audience. For the performance is always from hour to 2 hours, sometimes 4 hours. I'm quite sure, as I write before, during this performance, nobody was killed. But I don't know what happened after that. But this is during the difficulties. You can see the audience and see the color of the audience. So we select in our performance to have the same tradition things, songs, and we are writing very simple things. And we change the performance according to the place where we are. And we ask the audience to select the place. Anyway, the things are going, this is the Buga International Theater Festival, and how we are in the Buga, the things are developed. I'm quite sure with the support of the ITI Germany and ITI Sudan, and of course the umbrella of the international ITI, the things are really very good. By the way, this guy, during I'm visiting that camp, he's just following me all the time. And he's sitting like that. I'm so happy with this boy. He is now a young guy. I follow him and I asked about, there is no family, but I asked the committee. Anyway, I believe very much one of the Buga visit. I think this is our friend Derek from DC, from Washington. I make a lot of workshop around the world, work with the university. This is why we are doing by the support, of course, of Tobias. We have the idea to bring the writer of the International Theatre Day from South Africa for the first time, to celebrate the day of the International Theatre Day in Sudan. That was a long time ago. It was good. Anyway, I believe very much now the idea is around the world. There is a lot of change happening, but change in the good, some development. And we just have performance in a different place. I came to 2006 to Manila. This is one of the workshops, also supported by the International ITI in Ouagadougou with our friend Amadou, and we talk about all these things. I believe very much one of the good results of the cooperation between the center in the ITI is the theater in conflict zone. For me, the concept is being not only international, but it's a part of the human. And I believe very much with the support also of Unesco. I'm working with Unesco. Also, this is the idea of Tobias. This is one of my workshops somewhere in Europe. But the best thing that I did, I go to Tokyo. You can imagine we make a workshop in Tokyo on theater in conflict zone. It was very interesting, very great. And there is a lot of attendance in the workshop and in the lecture later. I'm working now in the books. The books will come out soon. And theater or performance art in the way of develop the community. How can we use the community with the art and take them far from the conflicts? This is what I'm trying to do. I went to the Congress Library. This is very interesting. The Congress Library, I make a lecture on the theater in conflict zone and the Sufi ritual on the theater as such, and that was good. You can go back to to one of these places. This is one of our visit in the camps, and during, all the time in Sudan there is fighting. Although now the things are okay, but sometimes the tribe. This is before one of these difficulty between the tribe in the west of Sudan. This is when I went to the university, Georgetown University in DC. This is one of the workshops, and a class with the not performance students, not acting or artists, but with the diplomatic. This is where we do our performance at Unesco. The best of that, we do 2 performances at Unesco. I really find a way now to thank Tobias for his support, his idea, and supporting such a thing like that coming from outside. One of the performances of Al-Buqa, it came from Darfur also, where we are working. I think now I talk too much. This is in London University. It was great. Also, they invite me to make a workshop in London University. SWAS, they are care about the African. Our Umda, the Sheikh, our Sheikh Tobias, in one of his visits to Sudan, he is completely Sudanese now. And this is also in London, I remember. Anyway, I do thank you, Fabio, for this. This is in Tokyo, the lecture, for this initiative of bringing the people together, thinking about the theater in conflict zone as one of the good results of the joint work. We are working together, and this is how the ITI can help each center to cooperate and to work together. Thank you very much. I didn't take 20 minutes, okay?
Thank you very much, Ali Mahdi. And now I give the word to Daniel Bausch from Accademia Dimitri, Switzerland. And also, please, Dan.
Hello, and thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Ali, for your wonderful speech. Thanks. Thank you, Fabio and Roberta and Simonetta. And thanks also, Tobias. And after your introduction speech, I thought maybe I will change a little bit what I have to say because I prepared something which is maybe a little bit technical. So I will see, maybe I will improvise a little bit. I'm, as you know, I work a lot with young people, with students, young artists, and I can feel that in the last years, maybe 10 years, young artists are looking for something else, what they can do with their art. I mean, it's not so much anymore that they're doing theater for themselves, but they're looking for something which has a deeper meaning, and they have, I think, a strong connection to the questions of injustice, what is going on in the world today, and they feel, I mean, more than my generation, a responsibility for what is going on. That's why I felt there's a really strong need and interest to work in conflict zones with this wonderful tool, theater. I have students which already started and they went into conflict zones, but they came back and they told me, listen, it's wonderful, but we were totally, we didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to work, and we had no technique. It was very spontaneous, and I think they did many things right. But so the idea to create a program where young artists in a form of advanced studies, like a program which is like 1 or 2 months long, they can learn, they can study the tools, how to work in this field, was born as an idea. And with my colleague from Swiss ITI, Anina Jendrako, she's a Swiss director, and she works since 25 years in this field, and she's working mainly in North Iraq. We created this program, and it was 2 times we wanted to start, but because of COVID, it was cancelled. But then we said, okay, COVID is still going on, but we have to go now because the people, they need us now, because at this moment, many NGOs are not working in the field. There are very reduced activities in the zones. So we said, we just risk it, we try it. And we did the first preparation module in Switzerland with European students. We prepared them in how to work with trauma, traumatized kids and young adults, and how to transform traumata in artistic energy, and to start to make theater, how to conduct, how to move, how to communicate in these fields when you don't know the language, when you don't know the culture, and also discussing about critical questioning of power and gender relationships, and an approach to dealing with the consequences of violence and war. So we had this 6 days of online module where we're teaching and we are preparing classes and exercises. Everything was online. And then we said, okay, now we really have to go there. And then we organized to go to Mahmur. And the teacher and the translator, she went to Mahmur in North Iraq, and she did the same module which she did with our students here in Switzerland. She did the same thing then over there with the young, or with not only young, let's say with the artists, which are also refugees, which are living in Mahmur in this camp. And they got the same preparation of trauma sensitive work. And then our students, they traveled to Erbil, and they arrived 10 days ago, and they are working. Then the group came together. So the artists from North Iraq and our artists, they came together. They had a training 3 days. And then they started to work in teams of 2, just one European and one North Iraqi student. They work together with, or they're still working now together with the kids of this camp. And they're creating a theater show, and they will have, this Friday, they will have a big performance in the camp. In the camp itself, there is no COVID at the moment because 70% of the population they were positive. So there is no COVID at the moment. So there is immune, I don't know how you say, they're kind of immune. So that's why we also said we can go now. Maybe I can just, Fabio, you have to interrupt me when I'm talking too long. Maybe just a little moment, or some words why we are there. So once I said, because our main teacher, Anina Jendrejko, is following this people of this camp since 20 years. These people are Kurdish refugees which got, they had to flee away from the attacks of the Turkish army. So I just want to say one thing. My information which I have about the situation is influenced by my visit when I was there 2 years ago. So I don't want to say anything against Turkish people in general. It's just something maybe against the governmental actions against the Kurdish people. So Kurdish people had to go away from the country because the army was totally like trying to clean out Turkish region from Kurdish people, and so they really tried to destroy the Kurdish identity. And because of this situation, Kurdish people went away, and there was one group from the heart of the Kurdish region called Botan. They crossed the border to North Iraq, and they had many years where they had to go go away. They were living in tents, but then 1998 Saddam Hussein gave them a place in Mahmur, where they're still now, and it's a stone desert. It was stone desert with scorpions and snakes, and but they kind of survived, and they created a society which is very, very touching, because they said, okay, female and male have the same values. Each religion can be practiced and celebrated. And they have a self-governed and basic democratic political system, which they realized, which is functioning until today. For example, education was one of the most important things, and they created the first action which they had was they created a school. Because they have 3,500 kids which have to go to the school in this camp. So then there was, unfortunately, the Turkish government, they put lots of pressure on the government of Kurdistan, and they were forced to put, how do you say, an embargo over the camp. So now since 3 years, they have a very strong embargo. They can't leave at all. Young people cannot go out to study in Erbil, and it's a very bad feeling at the moment. And that's why we also we decided, okay, they need us now. We have to do something with them now, because their kids, they're totally left alone. And so that's why we are there, and we are creating this project. And one last thing, for us, it's very, very important that with this program, we go into a country, and we don't go there because we know something more than the people there. We want to learn together, and we want that then when we go, the people have something in their hand to work totally independently. And now it's also a project which goes on. The next project will be in Afghanistan in September. Today I signed the contract. We will go to Afghanistan and work in Mazar Sharif with 10 young artists which want to do theater. And then in March 22, we will go to Colombia, to Cartagena. And so we are just before signing an agreement with our new friends and colleagues in Colombia, and Ana Marta and Victor. So I have a little very, very short movie, which is the first impression of when they arrived. They made first shooting of the first day. So I think it's only 2 minutes or something like this. And please, Simonetta, can you show this movie now? I think there's also sound, Simonetta. There's music on it.
Was hat bei der Übung super ist und was auch geklappt hat, ist, wenn man das direkte Gucken und dieses Senden und dann geschmissen worden ist. Und teilweise war man nicht so sicher, wenn man wusste, ich werde gerufen und man war da. Das wäre der David! Was man? Robert! Ja! Was man? Hier ist aber hier.
Thank you, Simonetta. So this was the first meeting of the artists from the camp and our artist. The first day where they found each other and they started to create a common language. So I think my time is over.
I think that, of course, thank you very much, Daniel. And we have a lot of things to discuss. I'm sure on this, because I think that theater in conflict zones is something deeply connected with the creation of ITI, or the International Theatre Institute, because it was born in connection with the Unesco after the end of Second World War, and because we have to rebuild the human connection after a tragedy of the Second World War. But unfortunately, we know very well that in this moment, all over the world, there is conflict, and also the pandemic situation also creates a great disease for everyone, because in this situation of pandemic, we have a very, very terrible situation for the people that stay in disease. And also, for example, I want to share with you that in theater in conflict zones, now we have Koma Shano that asked to participate, is Kurdish from Syria. And you can imagine what is the situation of the little theater in Kurdish that stay in Syria. And also they are in Rojava area. They haven't write about everything of daily life, and also for the cultural activities, for the education, for the young generation, and so on. Is an example. Also, what you have said about the deportation of the people is another condition. But also, in the meanwhile, I'm sure that we are working in connection with a deep sense of the theater. What you have said about the young generation of your school, of Accademia Dimitri in Switzerland, is very important. The young generation need to find a sense for the theater, and they have to find not perhaps in the official theater, in the great festival and so on, that they are very important, we know, but also there is another perspective in this. And also the first question by me is also for Ali Mahdi and Daniel Bausch is perhaps we have to work a lot to create connection between different experiences, and also what the experience of Ali is very important on this. And also, for example, the first element is connected with the Ali has spoken about the work with Alexander Stilmark about My Unknown Enemy.
Yes.
I want to ask to Ali the experience of My Unknown Enemy, because it's a topic very essential to overcome the dynamic of the conflict. And the second question is for Daniel, is also, it's very important, your effort in this moment, but also I think that we can create a strong connection with the network to go deeper about the topic that we have to develop to give to the young generation, like a tool, to create a tool to front this situation so important.
Yes.
Okay. Ali, please.
Can I start?
Yes.
Yes. First, thank you. This is very interesting question, because it takes us to how we communicate together. I mean, the ideas and how we can building what you call it in one of the meeting, Fabio, the network. And what we are doing now is network for theater in conflict zone, which is true. I believe very much the work of Alexander, My Unknown Enemy, is starting very earlier, before what we are doing in the south of Sudan. But when I came to Tampico in Mexico, I find them very interesting, and they talked with me about it. And very quick, we make the communication, and they arrive in Khartoum. I remember our friend Thomas Engel and other two people, and Alexander. And we start a workshop in Khartoum. And after that, we make the workshop in Stuttgart under the name My Unknown Enemy. You can imagine at that time, between Israel, and I have to be very frank with you, and the Arab countries, it was difficult to talk about Israel. At that time, 2005, we met together and we worked together in one place. My group are 11, and one from Israel, and two ladies from Pakistan, and one from Turkey. You know, you can imagine how the people like that with different religions, cultural, but the idea, the aim of using the performance art in solving the problem was bring us together. And I think we are very successful, because at the end, we make a very nice performance from all this group. I was very happy to work with them. I'm leading one of the sessions and one of the workshop, one of the training, sometimes exercise. So I believe very much this experience of and what going now in as he said, in part of Iraq. This was very interesting. And what you said about the Turkish, everywhere where is people need the performance or theater to help them, and at least to let the other people look at the case from the eye of the artist. I'm sorry, there is no difference between the people of the information, I mean the media, and the artists. We are together using the same image, but our eye or our image was more, respect, if you want me to say the word, or very clear. We are deep more in the difficulties. So I believe very much the support of Alexander and Thomas, and of course, the big umbrella of the ITI, leading us to reach between New York and Manila and Rome and all these things to give our performance, to talk about our workshop. You can imagine how many workshops, and leading with the young generation in Europe. That was very interesting. Those people that are interested in keeping themselves from the difficulties, from the conflicts. I think I'm not far. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Hey, Daniel, please.
Yeah, sorry, I was just looking up a word which I didn't know in English. I don't know if it's the right one, but Fabio, I don't know if I understood your question, but I think maybe you proposed that the experience which we are doing teaching this certification, this course, could become also a tool for the network, which could be kind of described, written down, which could be offered and be able to be read and to be used, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. That is, I think, absolutely wonderful proposition, and it's absolutely a project which we can realize together, because I think we will have lots of experience, and we will have also written experiences by the participants of our program, because they have as a final thesis, they have to write about what they learned, about the tools, they have to explain them. They have to be able to explain, to write the experiences they made, and this could be collected. It could become kind of a toolbox, a tool text for the network. Absolutely, and I agree. I think I just want to say, Ali, great what you said before, and about the eye of the artist. I like this a lot. And I think something which is very important for the eye of the artist is, and I think that is something which has to be also practiced, is that we look on what is going on with empathy, but not with feeling a pity. So I was looking up what does it mean, Mitleid, and because in German, what is Mitleid?
Pity.
Pity, yeah. So you don't feel pity, but you feel empathy for what is going on around you, and that you are, and with the poetic eye, you are looking on it, and you transform it into something artistic, live, and that is, I think, a beautiful task we have.
So please, Tobias.
I think there will be a lot of approaches how people work. Like if you remember what Bernardo said, what they are doing, and that it was very interesting to hear that they don't let them complain about what their situation. Like they probably want that they focus on a solution. And I think that was very interesting when I heard that. Like, and also I think they should go into playing it, and what they feel and their experience should go into playing it. And I think I totally would support from ITI side that one is collecting all these exercises that makes it possible to get people in touch, to get people in dialogue with theater. And I think that would be a wonderful project for ITI as a whole, like to collect these and to bring it together. And when you showed the video, like what was very nice, like you could see they meet and they have such a strong smile. And they start to enjoy life, etc. And I think this is like the gift of them back. Like this is when you see that. It's what gives you tears, because they are really doing a good job, and you can see they start to enjoy life as well. And I think it's not so easy when they are there in that situation with Turkish power and with a camp and with restrictions, etc. So I admire what you showed, like what Alina is doing. So very good.
Can I add very short thing? Is it possible? Fabio? Can I add something? Yes. Just from what Fabio said and what you said, the exercise, I collect all the exercise, because when you said workshop, that means you have some exercise. We did some exercise. And I remember the first exercise in Malakal, 2004, and the exercise at La Mama Theater in New York, because we make a workshop before the performance, before the conference itself, and other places. They are different. The language is different, but we share the concept and the movement itself. How we express ourselves when we talk about blood, when we talk about killing, these things, these small things. And I think the best of that is the umbrella. Again, I said the umbrella of ITI is helping very much this initiative to be an international. It is not now a regional or for national countries. And now you say what is Daniel said about what they're doing, the students from Switzerland going to there, and what Fabio suggests in the center in Rome and in Italy. All these things is began an international. And I suggest to you, Fabius, that you lead us to collect the practice, not only the stories, the practice. And I myself, I will send you even the drawing, because sometimes we use the drawing. We use the drawing and some slide in the presentation and now we are teaching at the university. We're using the old picture. So it's good that we talk about the exercise, how many exercise we use, how we explain, what is the difficulties. This is very important. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Ali. Also, I want to add just a few elements, but I think that all the intervention now, it's very important and essential because, for example, for our experience, it's very important to combine, to blend the diversity of culture through this work, because one of elements of the conflict for our experience is the idea of the participants to be isolated, to be not in connection with others, and also the presence of different cultures in the same work of conflict start to represent an opportunity, a tool to overcome. Also, of course, we need a process of work, very important, but also for me, for example, for our research for Astragali Teatro in this sense, is the chorus. Working with the choir is something essential to start to receive and transform the cultural diversity like a tool to overcome the conflict. And also I think that this is the main goal of ITI too.
Yeah.
But because it's not only an idea to reach something, it's the process to reach the result.
Yes.
The cultural diversity. And also for this is very important. When Daniel has spoken, I said about the community of Kurdish in Syria, and the community of Kurdish in Turkey, the community of Kurdish in Iraq, but also the community of Kurdish in Iran is an example of the conflict that remains. And also is something strictly connected. For example, we have many Kurdish, the large part of refugees in this moment in Italy, and also I think the same in Germany and perhaps in Switzerland, is they are Kurdish, but it's not a national category, Kurdish, because it's a transnational dimension. It's one of the heritage of the First World War that we have for the Kurdish, that they were divided. And it's another principle of the power of the dominion generally, to divide what is an element. And also I think that this is very important to try these aspects. Also now Tobias is asking to involve Alexander, but also Alexander will be involved in the Germany presence when we will speak with also Thomas Engel, because another aspect, the network is not a limit, a dominion of something. We want also, for example, the ACAR committee is very important for us. Also, the NIM network, Heritage, Indigenous and Migrants is another aspect very important. Theater for Social Change. We have to work a lot in connection on this, and also the perspective is also to create a stronger connection. I think that because in this way we can overcome the isolation or the idea of isolation. And the last thing that I want to say is connected with the what say the Tobias about the smiling faces, and also of course is one of the most important results that we can find. When we arrive in a conflict zones, we can reach that life is going on. Life is going on. It's not something stopped. The people, yes, the young generation want to enjoy, to have an experience of knowledge, not only sad or connected with the destruction, the bombing and other things. They want to live together. And also this is a very, very important impulse of life. And also it's the impulse of theater too, because it's something very, very, like, sorry, but you know that is a topic very important for me, because the sense of resistance of theater. Now, I don't know, I have asked if there are, Robert, and also we have collected another question by Facebook, but the technical time is not very, very easy. Please, Roberta. No.
I would like to ask to Ali, which is, in your opinion, the biggest contribution that theater can give in a community which is in conflict, and to build also the sense of a community inside a context of conflict, as it is the situation in Sudan.
Yes.
How can theater concretely give tools or help or support to the people?
Yes, thank you. First, when we start in the south, the conflicts was there, but the most conflicts was appear in Darfur. You know about Darfur in Sudan. Now it is so far so good, but in Darfur the conflicts is not only religions or political, tribe, and this is the dangerous things. The tribe. So I believe very much the work between us and ITI Germany, and under the umbrella of the international ITI, lead us to select tools. I like the way of Fabius. He said, now we have not only the practice, the exercise, we have tools. We use it from the experience in general. And in my books, you will find all this, how we use the tools. And I remember the support of the European. I mean, if you consider ITI Germany, ITI Italy, and of course the ITI International, they are leading workshop to train trainees. They came to Khartoum after the end of the workshop in Germany, and we make a lot of workshop with the help also of the UN, with the UNICEF and other organizations, and of course under the umbrella of the ITI, the Secretariat, we have teaching more than 200 actors, not from Khartoum, from the area, from the south. And now we have a very genius one, Dr. Justin John Pele. Now he is the head of the Faculty of Art or Theater in the south of Sudan, in Juba University. He's one from the Buga, from the Theater in Conflict Zone Sudan. And he went to Germany, and he went to, and in the other hand, we work very close with Augusto Poal, because we believe very much the experience of Brazil and all this Latin America. Now we go back after this very successful work in, we have the new center and in Latin America, and we are going to work together. I believe very much the cooperation and the working between the European Center by teaching the tools, because it's not the matter of acting. it's not the matter of singing, of music. It's a matter of using the acting as a tool in solving the difficulty between the people in one place. You can imagine a people in one camp. They are suffering from the war, running from the war. They have no villages. They came to a place where they have a camps. They just have nothing except they have the art. They can make performance, but what sort of performance? It's not Shakespeare, of course. It's not my play in the town. It's a play from the difficulty, from the drama itself. I agree with you, and I like very much the last speech of Fabio. As a network, we have to take this experience and to join together from Switzerland, from Italy, and working in the difficulties. And I think Tobias can always, he's helping if he can accept to make the tools. We make a short book, my friend, about the tools and the key things we can use it in the exercise, in the practice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ali. Very important words. I read now a question that we received on Facebook, both for Daniel and Ali. Do you think something changed in life or work or the situation through the work together with the people? What remains after the work or workshop ends? So if something changed through the work together, and what remains after the workshop or the experience with the people?
Daniel.
Okay. Yeah, as I said, as I tried to say before, that is really one of the most important things for us, is that something has to remain. It makes no sense to go and to do something and you go back to your country and you leave nothing. So what we hope what remains is a lived experience, how to work. I mean, for the artists which are participating at our program there, I hope that it remains an experience. We could call it also tools later. It's more technical, but experience, which allows them to work with young people, with kids in this situation. And as I said before, to give them some hope, some joy in life, and to transform this energy which is in them into something artistic, to create independently theater projects in the camp. That is what we hope it remains. We go away on Sunday and they were able in the next summer holidays, now in June, to create their own theater projects in the school.
Yeah. So I have, yes, can I answer? Sure. Yeah, I have different experience of workshop. We have the local workshop in the area with the difficulties, with the fighting. And sometimes we do the workshop between fight and fight, between war and war. That happened to us in Darfur and in the south. But there is another workshop, the international workshop. When you take the practice, the tools, the same tools, and you go to DC, to Washington, DC, to Georgetown University with the students, they have an idea about the war in Africa. They have an idea about the difficulties between the tribes. So using the same tools, you use it in Darfur and use it with your students. It look at the beginning, they are interested for the African music, for the traditional dance, but slowly by slowly, in my experience, they get interest of learning how the performance art, how the acting can help in solving problem. At least nobody died during the performance in Darfur. Nobody. No, there is no fight for the next day, maybe, I'm not sure. So there is a difference between the practice with New York and Tokyo, you can imagine. And this is why I'm very interested in what you are doing in Switzerland. You can imagine theater in conflict zone in Switzerland. Nobody will believe there is in Geneva, there is something need from the students, the actors, and the actresses to study or to learn about how can we use the performance art in Africa to solving the problem. I think this is the interest. And this is, my dear Fabius, this is the role of the network you are leading, is to make the things easy. We need to have this picture, this video in one place where it can be, of course, the ITI, the secretariat, they have a lot of documents about this. But if it come out like a book or like something to lead the others, and this will be a very good documentation. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, please.
There's another aspect which I find also important, that our, let's say, European participants coming back to their countries, they also bring something very rich, because they learned together with the participants of North Iraq, and what they're bringing back to their country has also a big value, because it changes the point of view. How do you see your own country? How do you see your own culture? Because I was very touched when we had our last meeting here in this format, and I think it was Bernardo who said he went to Switzerland to give a workshop with kids. He was shocked. He said it was the most difficult conflict zone he ever lived in his life, because the kids were like kind of dead internally, and it was very difficult to get them moved. And I was very shocked by this. He's right, I think. And so I think also, Ali, it is also very important that people from Colombia, from Sudan, and they're coming, and from wherever, coming also to my country and bring us another perspective, how to see our own life.
Yeah, inshallah, together.
So I think that we can. I want to add another aspect very important. Also, of course, what said Daniel, it's very important. I think that also for the European younger generation, it's very important to go in the place of the conflict, of the real concrete conflict. And also it's very important to meet African culture, because we have a perception of the cultural diversity, very strange. Because when we see, for example, in Italy, the situation we are living from 25 years, a situation of the rejection against the migrants and the refugees, and also we have to transform this mood with feeling. But also another aspect very important in this strategy, I think that it's very important to invite young generation from the place of conflict to come in Europe, not like refugees or like migrants, but also to arrive here like a young artist that want to reach something different and so on. The mobility is very important. It's another aspect very important, not only from young generation that arrives in Near East or in Africa, but also to find the way to promote the mobility of the people, that we also to have a kind of answer to the question by Facebook. What remains? We have to promote the mobility of the young artists, not like refugees that arrive in Europe, for example. This is a very important goal that we have to reach. But because we know, because with the experience of the mutual understanding, we can transform the life of performing arts too. I think that it's very important to underline this. It's not only a social intervention, this is a social result that we can find, but also is an artistic goal that we have to develop on this. And so I want to ask Tobias, please say something about this. I know that you are very sensible of this. So.
Okay, no, I think something you have to be aware when you deal with theater. It's not material. It's something spiritual. It's something which you cannot touch. And I think when you are going, your students, Daniel, go to Iraq. They bring there something totally. They bring hope. They bring another aspect. They bring people in communication. It is something that you cannot wait. Like it's not a gift, a material gift. It's a gift they will have forever. And I think we say in German, like, it's like a drop on a hot stone. So it's very important that this drop continues. And I think that is very important to make it possible to other theater makers to go there and do something similar if they would like to, and to share with them what has been tested and experienced in the past, like which people who have done this work. And I think this is very important, but it needs much more people doing that, and it will give, this changed the world, not the politicians and the governments that come at the end, but you and me, Ali and Daniel and Fabio and Roberta, all of us, like if we do something that changes, this is what stays. And I think this is extremely important in these days. And if ITI can help to distribute this knowledge, and I think also distribute the stories, like, you know what I mean, like when I hear a story from somebody who worked in a prison, and what he, for instance, in Santiago de Chile, a German group, I was so touched when an ambassador told me that in Cuba. I still remember the story of really changing the life of a prisoners, and it gives us optimism. And sometimes we may have everything material, but I think we need to give the tools that make it for them to create a better life. And I totally agree with what Daniel and Ali said, that it needs to be done, and I think it's very important for this world that it's done.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's my viewpoint.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we have no other question. If you want to say something, to launch something for the future, to close the, please, Ali and Daniel.
Can I start, Daniel? I would
Please.
like to say something. I feel very proud that I'm joining the community of theater, international, regional, because I believe very much, and I am very proud I'm joining the ITI since a long time, and that helped very much, you know, because before I always call it umbrella. Without this umbrella, we can't make all this good communication and good result. So I would like just to say two important points. By the support of the ITI, I'm sorry to say it again, by support of my friend Tobias with his contact, theater in conflict zone as a concept or experience having award, international award, where, if you remember, Tobias freedom to create. And it's not only the award, but the next year after that, I went to South Africa, and as member of the jury and leading some workshop on theater in conflict zone in South Africa. Between, you know, there is a lot of conflicts there, as you know. And the second thing that I believe it's a sort of appreciate of the theater as performance, as you said, is the UNESCO Sharjah Award for Arab Culture. They believe that this theater in conflict zone issue and the performance, whatever it is, give a good idea about culture. And this is very important because you talk about cultural diversity. And this is good. This is good in the diversity among this multicultural. The Arab are very good to give the idea to the others. I'm really very interested. These things come together in one time. I start Monday teaching my classes at the university in Khartoum here about the cultural diplomatic on the theater in conflict zone as a tool of this cultural diplomatic, which is good. And of course, I will give all this experience. I hope, Fabio, thank you for this whole initiative is bringing the life you know, the best of this, your initiative and what you are doing, Roberta, is the idea is not going to be die. The idea is always something new, like what Daniel doing and what they are doing in Latin America soon. As you said, we are going to see Manila, and all this come together. All this come together, and this is the umbrella of ITI, and this is the role of the art, bringing everybody together. Inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please, Daniel.
I don't know what to say, Ali, after what you said.
No, please.
I believe. Anyway, I mean, the one of the most important actions of doing theater is communication and listening, respect, giving place, and creating dreams, imagination. And I think all these are the right tools also to work in each kind of conflict zone, wherever in the world, if it's in North Iraq, in Colombia, wherever, in Sudan or in Switzerland. And to give them the value, I think is ITI has the force to give this the right value, and I think it is a very important initiative to give through this network ITI a good strength, a good push of the deep question: what is the deepest sense of doing theater and or doing performing arts? And I think we can find some good answers here in this field. So let's go on working. I think we started. You started already a long time, Fabio and Roberta, and Ali, and let's go on. I think we are we started a way, and we have to keep on going.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. Tobias, if you want to say something to close the meeting. It was enough what you have said. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you very much, Daniel and Tobias, and also all the participants online. Of course, we prefer to stay together in presence, but it's a very strange period, we know, but in any case, it's very important to promote and to know each other and to launch a common action together, and also to develop a common action. Is the goal of ITI is to the mutual understanding, and also is an opportunity for the life of the whole performing arts community. And also for this, thank you very much for this meeting. We will continue to share these, and also please resist, and also we continue to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Simonetta.
Thank you. Bye, Ali. Bye, Daniel. Bye,
Daniel,
Tobias.
Tobias.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Grazie
Bye-bye. Thank you, Simonetta.
Simonetta anche.
Thank you very much.
Stay in touch.
Thank you, sir.
Ciao.
See you.